We are here with Andres Chavarria, who is here with Takitos con Sabor in Texas. Where in
Yes.
Texas are you?
We are located in Eagle Pass, Texas, 2 hours south from San Antonio. It's a border town with Mexico,
Okay.
so it's fun.
Yeah. And so you have two trucks currently.
Yes, so we have a main food truck running right now, and we just ordered the second food truck for the second location. It took us about 4 years so we can figure out, I call it my little baby, because we just figured it all out, as in like the systems and everything, and it's ready to be copied and pasted into the other city. We test the market for a little bit, and then we copy and paste into the third one, and hopefully one day we get to say we have more than 100 locations.
Oh, amazing. So you actually have a pretty interesting starting journey because you actually started in the events industry, right? And you were
Yes.
helping to provide entertainment and music to individuals, and then COVID happened, correct?
Yes, correct.
And so do you want to tell us a little bit about your origin story?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so nothing is ever gonna go as planned. That's what I've learned in life. For example, when I was 14 years old, I started DJing, and I didn't even know what it was gonna take me, but then the dots are gonna start connecting later on in life. So I started DJing on the weekends, and it was amazing. It's a service, and then COVID happens on 2020. And I had all the Saturdays sold out for the rest of the year, but then you don't have a job no more, you don't have events, everything was canceled. So I was stuck, like, okay, so what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And then I started to notice that two things were kept happening during COVID, and it was like people were dying, and then people also kept eating. So I was like, we gotta jump into one of those businesses. And the coffin business kind of scary, so I was like, you know what, we can go into a taco business, and that's how we ended up, diversifying the income.
Yeah.
And we went that route with a food truck, and we opened on March 27, 2021.
Wow.
And we have been in business for about 4 years, and it has been just a learning process. If I were
Yeah.
to be honest with you, it took me about 3 years and a half to probably figure it all out. Yeah, so we're barely going to enjoy
Yeah.
what can I say, the reward of having the business.
Yeah, and it's pretty incredible, right? Because you started off with just yourself and some family members, correct?
Yes, yes. So I started the business by myself, and I brought my mom and my dad, and then I was like bringing my cousin,
Yeah.
and then okay, let's hire people, and
Yeah.
but we started from zero, and then right now we have a team of about 25 employees.
Wow.
That help us out. We are open every day. Per shift, we use about 7 people Sunday through Thursday, and then on the weekends we have about 10 employees per shift.
Amazing. And so what was that conversation like when you went to your family and you said, hey, I have a business idea, and to get them on board and convince them to actually do this?
My family has always thought that I was crazy. To this day, they still think I'm crazy. For some odd reason, back in the day, so my dad got cancer in 2020,
Sorry
and
to hear that.
there was no appointments for doctors. There was nothing going on, and he got unemployed too. So I was unemployed too, and we were making no money, but we had to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So it was more like they had to believe in me because we had to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we were not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And for some really good reason, it worked out, and we were able to
Yeah.
pay the bills and kept going. And now, pues, we're still going strong.
So one thing I think that has really drawn me to you while we've met at the summit is the fact that you have a very natural business mindset. You're a very young individual. You're 28, is that right?
Yes, I'm 28.
So you're 28 years old. You've started this family business that now has expanded into having actual staff and employees. You're looking to expand into another food truck and then ultimately have a franchise of food trucks, which is all extremely impressive. You took a situation where you were DJing and then pivoted completely because of the circumstances of COVID, and you made it happen. But as a marketing and communications expert who's traditionally corporate trained and historically has spent over a decade in financial services, one thing that I find very impressive about you is your ability to leverage social media to market yourself. And for somebody who comes from a smaller town, you would think most small business owners would only think about that small demographic, but you've expanded. And you and I have actually talked over the last couple of days around strategies on how you've done that, on how you've gotten exposure, on how you got tags. To me, you seem extremely fearless. You went up and were able to get a conversation with Tabitha and got tagged in that. And I think that that's something that either people have it or they don't. But then you've also just paid a lot of attention to what works, what doesn't, but you're not afraid to try things. So can you kind of expand on what gives you the courage to take the risk to try new things and just continue to put yourself out there, even though not everything always fits?
Yeah, so the thing is, in Spanish, they say, or I say, no te quedes con las ganas de nada. So it pretty much means like try everything. You never know what's gonna be the outcome, but if you don't try it, you're never gonna know what could have happened.
Yeah.
So it's always about taking risks. And I know you mentioned that we're in a small city, and just so to put in perspective, so people know, I think the population where we operate is about 60,000 people, and or across all platforms, we have over 150,000 followers. So it's like we have more than the population in our town, and is just trying social media. For example, if we come from a small town, at first, even my family members were like, oh my gosh, why is he dancing to a TikTok?
Yeah.
And right now, people don't realize that we have been doing it for 4 years and they're barely finding out about us, but it has paid off,
Yeah.
being active on social media. I really recommend for people to give it a try, do that silly dance.
Put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there, and think differently.
Yeah.
Think differently. If I were to drop one of the biggest secrets of social media that we have done to
Yeah.
gain more clients, it'll be, and many people don't know this, but on Instagram, whenever you do geolocation, whenever you put I am in Las Vegas Venetian right now, and then let's say if in your hometown someone is at a different taqueria and they check into that taqueria or that restaurant, what we would do is pretty much from the business profile, go like their pictures and go like their story.
Engage with your community.
And then people would be like, why is Taquitos con Sabor liking my story? Who's this? And then they see the amazing pictures that we have of our
Yeah.
tacos, and then they'll give us a shot. So that's a spoiler secret.
Yeah,
secret.
and you told me that actually evolved from you asking your customers, how did you hear about us? And then them saying, oh, I looked at what are things to do or where are places to go? And then getting that feedback, which I think is incredible. Like you're already in tune of trying to get the feedback from your customers and see what works, what doesn't, and what's going to bring them back and bring them to you. Is that right?
No, yeah, that is correct. And talking about community, and they said it here on the summit, many persons that are starting a business think that they need money.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the money is in your community, in
Yeah.
your people. Like if you have people buying the product from you, that's how you're going to be able to fund any expansion or any growth of the business. So make sure you take care of your community and they'll take care of you. And that's where you're going to get your clients from.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about the challenges as it relates to putting yourself out there. Rejection, negative comments. Not everybody's going to like you. How do you bounce back when you see negative comments or things popping up that aren't necessarily what you would like to see?
I would say that the more good that you're doing, some people are gonna start not to like you. But the thing is, those people are not gonna help you pay the bills. They're not your clients. So
Yeah.
I would say, don't even pay attention to them. Just don't even comment anything bad. Leave the comment there. If there's of course, if you have reviews of people talking about your service and your food, then try to make it better, of course. But there's always gonna be people that do negative comments, or they're gonna try to bring you down. But the thing is, just don't care.
Just keep going.
Yeah, people on the internet get over on the third day, so
Yeah.
no biggie. Rather just wait for the fourth day, then
You're
you'll
not
be
that
fine.
important. It'll move on.
Yes, exactly.
It's funny. That reminds me of the story that Robert Herchek told us on day one, where he talked about how you are the company of 5 people that you keep, right? And there was a time where he was going to a Tony Robbins conference, a speaking engagement. He had 5 other buddies who were going to go with him, and all of them bailed last minute. And he was the only one who went. And then he makes the joke and he says, and you know where those other 5 guys are? He doesn't know either because they're nobodies, right? And
Yes.
so that's that, right? You just have to keep pushing forward and moving through it and building your community and keeping your core people who are going to support you, but then let the rest sort of roll off. Is that right?
Yeah, no, correct. And
Yeah.
it's you become the third person. If you hang out with 2 smart people, you're gonna be the third one. So if you
Yeah.
want to do good in business, figure out who could be a good mentor. Figure out if you want to be an influencer. Figure out who's doing podcasts and hang out with them, because if you don't hang out with the people you want to be alike, you're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna become that person. So
It's also about sharing skill sets and secrets. Like you've shown me how to use my lavalier mics here, which is
yes.
different a skill set, and we agreed to do different clips and podcast interviews and things like that. And we've been sharing marketing conversations back and forth, PR and media. And so, what is your definition of success today versus before you had your
So
business?
whenever we got into, so let's backtrack a little bit. When I was
Yeah.
in high school, I was like, okay, I guess success is gonna be money. And
Yeah.
I started to look at the careers that pays the most, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna become a neurosurgeon because they make $500,000 yearly. But that wasn't gonna make me happy. I mean, I don't even. I think I almost failed biology in college because and it was biology 13, 15, the most simple course.
Yeah.
So I would say that the definition of success is actually being happy with what I'm doing and
Yeah.
just enjoying it. Like I said back in the day, I was like, man, money is gonna be the solution to happiness, and once you actually kind of make it, it's like money doesn't mean nothing. You just have to be happy with what you do.
Yeah.
So if you are wanting to do a business because of the money, I would say rethink it. Most of the businesses, they can solve problems, and that'll make you happy, to make people happy by giving them and sharing tacos with them.
Yeah. And what has been the highlight of being here at Summit so far?
You know, I consider myself that I'm a crazy person, and the coolest thing here is that everyone here is crazy too.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in our natural habitats with
Yeah.
everyone. All the entrepreneurs here, they're crazy. They had to somehow pay for this conference. They have to make the sacrifice of being away from the business or from what we do to
Yeah.
be here. So that just means they are so alike like us, and we can learn something from every single person there. For sure, they all have made mistakes. Some of them, you ask them on what business number are you, and they're like, oh, this is like my 12th time I failed, but the 13 I'm gonna get it. And for me, this conference is just making all those connections and networks. And also, I learned a lot on the courses. For example, back in my hometown, no one's talking about AI. No one is talking about these important topics.
Yeah.
That now we got the knowledge and we're gonna go implement it in that little food truck, and it's gonna make us at the end of the day more sales, more clients.
Yeah. It's also been an incredible network of people who just do so many fascinating things, and everyone seems to be so helpful and wanting to help each other, which I think is fascinating as well. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and for meeting at Summit here, Shark Tank Summit. And are you going to be here for the final pitch tonight?
Yes, I'll be here. I've been at every event. I've been loving it. Thank you for having us. We look forward into this podcast being published. And what'll be the craziest part? If 10 seconds go viral, that's
Yeah.
all we need. We just need a little clip.
Exactly.
So yeah, make sure you follow us on social media. You can find us on Takitos con Sabor. We're
Yeah.
on TikTok, Instagram, Reels, Shorts, and everything.
Yep.
So just keep up with us, and we hope to come back again to the podcast one day.
Yeah, and we're going to have you meet the Lobster Brothers and Barbara Corcoran and get a food truck here in Las Vegas.
Yes, for sure.
Thanks, everybody.